Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Soma Sports Broadcast. I'm Benny and I'm here with
Brandon.
Phillip.
And today, let's get started. The Soma's Tuskers took on Whitesboro in the Varsity Football State Championship. Me, Jada, and Mark had the opportunity of a lifetime to go to Syracuse and get to call the game from the booth. We didn't get to do the video feed, but got to do audio, and it was an experience of a lifetime. Thank you for all those who tuned in to that, and let's get started recapping the game. So the first drive, Somers drove right down our field. It was first and goal, then second and goal, third and goal, fourth and goal. They decided to go for it, and then Miguel Iglesias throws it to Will Marcus, where it's incomplete, a drop pass. Tuskers don't score on the first drive. Then on drive 2 for Whitesboro, they start to get down the field, but then Memphis Ferguson, throws an interception to Miguel Iglesias, probably the best play of the game. Threw it to the receiver, swatted it, and Iglesias was able to swat it out of the receiver's hand, and then the ball went up in the air, and then on top of that, he caught it for the interception. An amazing play. That following drive, then Miguel Iglesias, QB sneaks it in for a rushing touchdown. Tuskers go up 7-0, and then a few drives later, Tuskers have the ball again. Miguel Iglesias hands it off to Dean Palazzolo for the Tuskers to go up 14-0, and they're leading early. Then, momentum on Soma's side. Ferguson then fumbles the ball, and Logan Ruby picks it up to run it back for a touchdown for the Tuskers to take a 21-0 lead. Miguel Iglesias then runs it in for his second touchdown a few drives later to go up 27-0, missed extra point. And then right before the half, Whitesboro's offense drives down the field to make it a 27-7 game as they get amazing touchdown there. And then to end off the half, Gavin Kelly kicks a 40-yard field goal, and he kicks it and makes it for the Tuskers to lead 30-7 at halftime. So that's halftime. Then right out of the second half, Whitesboro drives straight down the field, down by 23. You can never say they're out of it till the clock says 0-0, and get a touchdown. So it's now 30-14, but Somers answers back. Miguel Iglesias runs it in for a touchdown for the Tuskers to go up 37-14. Whitesboro then scores another touchdown for the score to be 37-21. So they may be coming back. And then on the next play, Somers fumbles the ball on the kickoff return. Whitesboro picks it up. Then Whitesboro drives right down for a touchdown. And then, so now it's 37-27. They try to go for two to make it a one-score game. A great play by Soma's defense, making that an incompletion. And it's now a 37-27 game. A game that was once 27-0, now a 10-point game. Then, next drive, Miguel Iglesias is able to drive it down the field for a touchdown, and as he runs it in to make it 44-27. And then this is what basically sealed it for the Tuskers. The next drive, they're able to hold Whitesboro off from scoring, and I think that helped give the Tuskers more momentum. Then to officially seal it, knock off a win, and then to the fourth quarter, Mason Kelly runs it in for a touchdown to put up 51 points on the board. First time scoring over 50 points this season for the Tuskers to win the state championship, 51-27. The Soma's Tuskers are your Class A varsity football state champions, and they make history being the first team in Class A to three-peat, winning 3 championships in a row. So what are your thoughts, just the championships overall?
I sadly was not there, so I was at home watching or listening with my family. It was an exciting game. To be honest, in that second half, you never knew what was going to happen. Somers dominated the first half, but the second half was back and forth, so we just didn't know what was going to come next.
I thought it was a pretty good game. I didn't get to watch it, unfortunately, because I was out of state. But I was listening to it for a little bit, and then I checked the score when I woke up, and it was 51-27. And I thought that was pretty funny, I guess, just because I saw that it was like a close game, and then I just see 51 points on the board. That was crazy.
Yeah, great to see. So now we're going to be talking a few things about the game, getting more in depth. So What do you think was the best play of the game, Brandon?
I have Logan Ruby with his fumble recovery for a touchdown in the first half. I believe that was something that really got the Somers team getting their energy, getting them hyped up for the rest of the game. I think that really helped them push through to score a lot of points before halftime.
And I think the best play of the game, it's got to be that Miguel Iglesias block catch on that first drive when the ball went up in the air after he blocked it and then grabbed it for an interception. Just an amazing play all around by him. What was the moment in the game that you think sealed it for Somers?
I think it was in that second half, Miguel Iglesias running it in to make the score 44-27, helping Somers pull away from that just 10-point lead. That was a 27-point lead at a halftime, helping them pull away, go up more than 10, and I think that really sealed the win for them. Benny?
So I think it was after they got that touchdown to go up 44-27, that next drive where they were able to stop Whitesboro from scoring. I think that's what they needed to do because Whitesboro scored touchdowns on the 3 drives before then, and they're able to stop Whitesboro from getting down the field, and I think from there there was an easy win for Somers. Who do you think was the best player of the game?
I had Miguel Iglesias, who was also voted the Somers Sports Broadcasting Club MVP of the game. Benny?
Yeah, I also have Miguel Iglesias, as he said. He won the MVP of the game for the broadcast, and a few stats I found on him. So had 4 rushing touchdowns and 1 passing touchdown in this game, and just an amazing performance by him overall. So next up, we're going to be interviewing the head coach of the Varsity Football State Champions, Coach DeMatteo. Alright, so today we are here with 4-year Somers Varsity Football head coach, where each year he has led the Somers Tuskers to the New York State Championship Class A, where they won the last 3. Here with Coach DeMatteo. Thank you for being here today.
Really appreciate you guys having me here today. Thank you.
Let's get started. The first question we have for you today is, what inspired you to become a coach?
That's a great question. A lot of people in my family are coaches, specifically my dad, my older brother, a lot of my uncles and cousins. So the sport of football is something I've been around ever since I was a little kid. I enjoyed the game a lot, not only as a player, but some of the bigger things that I think the game of football teaches young men, which is how to be able to handle, the daily life of an adult, which sometimes isn't very easy. And I think the sport of football at times is not very easy, and it was something I gravitated towards because I felt that it was a great way to impact young people to become better versions of themselves as they got older. And I just felt football was the best way to do that, and I wanted to continue the legacy of what my family had started.
All right.
And so everyone has to start somewhere. So where did you start, and how did you work your way up to being the head coach here?
Well, I started as a counselor at my dad's camps when I was in high school. So before I was really had a job or did anything like that, I worked the block and tackle camp, which is something that I own now, over the summer, and I helped preseason. So I unofficially have been coaching since I was like 14. And I got my first start and as a varsity assistant here in 2008 when I was hired to become a PE teacher right out of college. And, I coached other things here and there. I was a JV basketball coach for a while, but I was the assistant varsity coach here for, 12 years, 13 years before I eventually took the job when my dad retired.
That's great. And one question following up on that, how does it feel to succeed your dad as head coach here?
It feels very good because, I looked up to him my whole life, and he really got this program going in the right direction, and I went through this program. So all these things that I'm talking to you about are things that I experienced as a player, and lessons that I learned as a young person, and things that I still hold a lot of value in today. So being able to take the job when he felt it was his time to retire and have success with guys that are very special to him and very special to me, and we all do it together, is something that I value a lot.
Very cool. So you're telling us a little bit already, but what is your background in the sport of football?
So my background is I actually started playing football when I was 6 years old. So my parents lied on my birth certificate, got me in the Eastchester Blue Devils, which was a youth organization down county where I lived before Somers. And it was just a game that I've loved ever since I was a little boy. And I followed it, high school, college, pro, Just a big fan of the sport. I love playing it, and as you get older and your body can't really play the game anymore, it's not really a good lifetime fitness activity, right? Most of the kids that have played on this year's team will never play the sport again. So, I understood at one point in time I was going to have to transition to another piece of the game if I didn't want to lose it completely. So that's where my interest in coaching came in. Like, I'm going to have to stop playing this game at some point. So how else can I stay involved? And I felt coaching was the best. So, my background in football was ever since I can remember having memories. I love the game.
That's awesome. So how do you get your team ready? How do you strategize for each of your games? Because you can't go into each game with the same strategy.
No, of course not. Every Sunday, we report to the school at 9 a.m. Unarmed the building. We're the only people here. And the entire staff, between paid coaches and volunteer coaches, about 12 of us, we go into the D wing where Coach Packert's room is, and we work on the opponent until we feel we're ready to go. And what that looks like is a lot of film work, a lot of busy work, breaking down film of the opponent, formations, tendencies that they may have on different parts of the field. Different people coming in and out of the game might trigger something that they may call. And we come up with statistics that support what we feel is best to do on game day. We make sure that we're all on the same page. And once those things are done, then we bring it to the kids and we coach them up. But there's a lot of legwork that goes into the game plan, specifically, the breaking down of film and the collaboration with colleagues.
And what about coaching do you enjoy the most?
I enjoy watching people in our program that are not considered to be stars from the jump find success in hard work and determination and find a role within the program and help us succeed. So a young man that potentially did not play a lot as a youth player or as a JV or freshman player come up to us, find the weight room, transform their body, be coachable, be a good person, be a good teammate, do all the little things right, and then find their way onto the field and impact us in a positive way. Because I feel that right there is something that you can take off the field and find success anywhere if you have that mentality. So that's probably my favorite thing to kind of witness is those types of kids that find success in the little things.
All right.
Good. And you talked about this a little bit already, but when did you start coaching here at Somers?
So I was a student here. I went to Somers. We moved here in the 7th grade, so I feel like I've been here forever. But I officially started working here as a part-time PE teacher in 2008. And that's when I joined staff. And then I was at the middle school for a little bit, and then I bounced back up to the high school. But I've been working here since 2008.
How would you describe your coaching style, and how does it affect the team's mission and culture?
In today's day and age, I would probably describe my coaching style as a little bit of tough love, which I think, at times can be perceived incorrectly. But, we want to hold these kids accountable. And I think that's something that's very important even outside of the football field. So when you do something right, I'm going to be the first person, and this staff's going to be the first group of people to praise you and let you know what you've done right. And if you do something wrong, we're going to be the first to let you know about it. And I feel that type of coaching kind of sets the standard for a level of accountability from top to bottom. And the kids understand from the jump that they have to check some boxes before they're allowed to put on a Somers jersey. And I think it affects the team's mission and culture. It places a level of importance on little things. Time management, making sure the equipment is out to practice on time, making sure the field is clean, making sure that kids are going to class and doing all those little things. It affects culture in a positive way because people fall in line. And when everybody has the same mission and the same goal, they start to kind of play for one another, and it creates a chemistry that, when done right, is very hard to beat.
Yeah. And how do you keep those athletes motivated and engaged?
It's a great question, and it changes from year to year because kids are different. Like the identity of each team these last 4 years that I've had the privilege of being the head coach here have been different teams. So you have to get to know the individuals that you're coaching. You can't just be someone on the side that's calling plays. So as much as there's a lot of stuff that goes into being a head coach that doesn't involve the kids on the team, it's very important to get to know them and understand what makes them tick. And sometimes it's, an arm around their shoulder and let them know, next time's going to be better. And other kids respond better to a little bit more of an aggressive, tough love type of concept. So I don't think that's really such a cut and dry type of question. I think it varies from year to year. But, I think the other thing, too, is to let them know that you care. If they really believe that the staff and I care, then I think they're going to care as well. And I think we show that with the time that we put in, and the amount of effort that we give and practice shows them that we care. Now, we're not just telling them, but showing them. And then that usually, helps them to care as well.
All right, so what was the toughest opponent this year to strategize against, and why?
Oh, boy. I would have to say probably Rye. Ramapo of New Jersey, week 0, was a very tough game, but they had a new head coach, so it was very watered down, in terms of what we were going to be able to prepare for. Whitesboro was obviously very, very good, and they were very difficult to stop. They were in 56 different formations. But, when you take into account how good the kids were, how good the coaching was, and the culture of the program, I think encompassing all those 3 factors, I think Rye was probably our toughest opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then, obviously, you guys went undefeated and you won the championship, but how do you feel the season went besides that?
There's always ups and downs. Even on an undefeated season, there are always things that are going to disappoint you, and there's always going to be things that excite you. And you have to understand that it's a roller coaster. Everything is not going to be, sunshines and rainbows. So it's important to understand that you're along for the ride, and, the little things are going to go certain ways, and you want them to be positive. And this year, overall, there were very little distractions. There are a couple things here and there, but that's just the nature of coaching in a high school. And I was very, very pleased with our varsity roster and how they conducted themselves in the community and on the football field.
So when a new player joins the team, how do you decide what position works best for the player when they're trying to decide?
Well, one of the things about being a PE teacher is you get to see people move in different areas, right? So when I was coaching down or teaching down at the middle school, we used to play capture the flag. I don't know if you guys remember doing that down at the middle school. The kid that didn't get tagged when he had the flag is probably going to be a pretty good football player with a ball in his hands. So there are different things that you do within the structure of the day here as a PE teacher where you get to witness kids do things, right, in phys ed class and kind of get to know them and get to know what their movements are. And then the other thing, too, is, siblings and their size and parents and their size and what they've done in the past usually translates. So it's not very different than a college recruiter coming in and recruiting a high school player and saying, how tall is your mom and your dad? Did your mom play any sports? Your dad play any sports? Do you have any siblings? What did they do? So it's really a variety of things that we take a look at. And usually make a decision, based off that information.
Very interesting. So what will you do during the off-season to prepare the team for next year?
Well, I don't think there's anything that we need to do differently. We'll do our usual deal. After the holidays, I kind of take the temperature of the room. Most other programs in the area end their season in November, but, we've been fortunate to end it in December. So a lot of other programs are starting their off-season weight training program after the holidays. I personally feel that's a little bit too soon. I want to give these guys a break. I'm a big proponent of multi-sport athletes. I want guys to play other sports and get a break from football. But with that being said, we'll probably start our off-season weight training program after the February break. So we'll start lifting as a team, and we'll have group leaders and things like that, and 3-4 days a week. And then we'll also start with our lineman meetings where Coach Packard and Coach Mike will get them on the board and start talking about the schemes that we want to do next year. And then I'll be taking the skill outside and start throwing the ball around and getting our new quarterback ready as we graduate another first team All-State guy and all that fun stuff. So we'll have to get someone else ready up to speed, which we feel good about. So that nothing different about the usual procedure.
All right.
And just getting ready to wrap up here, how does it feel to be a 3-time New York State champion after 4 years of coaching?
I'll tell you what, that's a great question. I don't really think about it that much because I would have never envisioned this. I always thought that, with my family, that there was a great chance that I would have success in coaching. And I'm very fortunate to have an unbelievable staff that is bought into, everything that my dad taught and supported me when I got the job. And to me, it's more important to do it with them. I can't believe that we've won 3 in a row. But, my mentality has always been not to think about the past. I've already forgotten about this year in terms of, we're still celebrating it, and I love these kids. But in my mind, it's about the next one. So we're going to continue to grind and get after it. And we'll probably celebrate this one through the holidays with these guys that deserve a lot of attention for what they've accomplished. But I really enjoy, and I think the staff really enjoys the grind of getting better. So we don't really take a lot of time to reflect. We do it when we feel it's appropriate, and then we move on. So yeah, it feels fantastic, but I'm ready for the next one.
All right. And finally, what is your most proudest moment as a coach?
I'm going to be a little selfish here, and I'm going to talk about the experience that I had in the dome, on the field this past year when my son was able to be there. It was just a cool feeling just to have, I was there for my dad when he was a coach, and I was on the field when he won a state championship. And then my wife, last 2 years wasn't able to come because when you have little kids, they get sick a lot. So there was always something up. She couldn't come. So this year they were both there. They were both on the field after the win, and that was a really cool moment. I got a lot of really cool pictures with my son, and that's something that I'll cherish.
Yeah, that seems very meaningful.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
All right, well, thank you for coming today.
Yeah, man, that's it. All right, awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, so I am here with the captains of the 2024 New York State Varsity Football State Champions, and I want to know from each of you, how does it feel to win the state championship? What does it mean to each of you?
It feels great. It means a lot being a senior, and it's just really exciting to go out on a state championship win.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great feeling. Obviously, it's our senior year. Last time putting the pads on, we wanted to finish it out the way we did, and it just feels amazing.
Yeah, I mean, all four of us have been playing on varsity for 3 years, so we've been through 2 state championships. Is the third one. Best way to go out with the guys I've been playing with my whole life. So
to win another ring, it means the world. It's like a dream come true to just go out there with my brothers and bring it home senior year. It's just a dream come true.
Yeah,
Dream come true.
yeah, dream come true,
Yeah.
for sure.
power of friendship.
Now, there is Class A championship where Somers won, but there's some other class championship results as well I'd like to share. So first, our Christian Brothers Academy took on Christian Brothers Academy. One was from Syracuse, one was from Albany, and I actually wound up watching a little of that game. It was an amazing game. That second quarter, they both, after being 0-0 at the end of the first quarter, was 21 all at the end at halftime, but then I fell asleep, and then I woke up. There was like 3 seconds left in the game, and it was a great time to wake up because Albany, Christian Brothers Academy, Albany was up 40-35, and then Christian Brothers Academies from Syracuse threw a long pass as time expires, and it was caught for a game-winning touchdown, a Hail Mary, an amazing play for Syracuse to beat Albany 41-40. And Christian Brothers Academy Syracuse is also the team. Just want to point out that the Tuskers did lose to in the state championship in 2021 by only 1 point. In Class B, we had Port Jervis, who won against Maine Enwell 33-26. In Class C, we had Saukville, who beat Salamanca, who won 26-20. And then in Class D, this was the game where we watched while we were setting up. It was pretty much dominated by CSP. But Brook Catholic got a touchdown at the end. CSP won 46-7.
So now we're on to our Week 16 predictions. Benny, you go first.
All right, so I'm going to be predicting 3 games. And first off, I'm going to start. We have the Vikings taking on the Seahawks. 2 teams that have been playing great football lately. I see more defense than offense in this game, and I think it's going to be close all the way to the end. I think it's going to be the Seahawks who take this one 19-16 in a close one. My second game, I have the Chiefs taking on the Texans, and in Chiefs fashion, they're going to win, but it's going to be another close battle where the Chiefs win 24-20. And this last game, the Jets take on the Rams, and this game I'm actually going to in real life. Pretty excited for that, and I think these have maybe until last night, these were good offenses. The Rams offense obviously didn't show up against the 49ers, but I'm still sticking with this prediction. I think these teams are going to go off, the offenses, and I think we're going to be tied at 31 going into overtime. And I think the Rams win 37-31. And it's Aaron Rodgers who finally has a great day, something we have not seen a ton this season.
All right, so I'm going to predict 2 games. 3 of the 4 teams in my 2 games are from the NFC East. We have the Eagles against the Commanders. I have the Eagles winning 48-35. Then we have the Bucks Cowboys. I have the Bucks winning 24-16. I just don't think the Cowboys are going to get much done with a backup quarterback in there.
I have the Bills playing the Patriots. I have the Bills winning 42-17. Josh Allen's looking for that MVP season, and I think that's what's going to take it.
All right, so now we're going to recap the NFL from Week 14. So I'm going to go first. There were a bunch of amazing games, but there was this one where both offenses went off. And at this point, the Rams were like pulling away, and then the Bills came all the way back to make it a close game, but the Rams got another touchdown to go up by 9, and so they were up 44-35, and then unfortunately the Bills, they did get another touchdown, but they had to do the impossible, receive the onside kick, and they weren't able to do it, and the Rams take this one 44-42 in a shootout, but Josh Allen has 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns in this game.
Record, I think, in fantasy, 51.88 points. So you're lucky if you have him in fantasy.
Yep, and I have him 2 leagues, so that helped me a ton. And then my second game, the Vikings took on the Falcons, and what a performance by Sam Darnold. 5 passing touchdowns. Jordan Addison caught 3 of them. Justin Jefferson got 2 of them. And at one point, this game was tied at 21, but then in the late second half, the Vikings just pulled away to win this one 42-21. The game where Kirk Cousins played his former team and just came up short.
All right, and I've got the Bengals-Cowboys game. Bengals won this game 27-20. Joe Burrow led the Bengals with key plays, including a 40-yard touchdown to Jamar Chase, showcasing us and their explosive capabilities on offense. And then we had Dallas running back Rico Dowdle. He was a standout for the Cowboys, getting 141 rushing yards in this game. Despite that, the Cowboys still fell short, and the Bengals defense held firm to secure the victory and continue their playoff push.
I have Packers-Lions. I think that was my favorite game of the week. 34-31. Lions won with a Jake Bates field goal at the end. The Lions are looking fantastic, and I can't wait to see them play the Bills. And that was my most interesting game. And out of the least interesting game, we have the Jaguars beating the Titans 10-6. This was really low scoring. Both of them are really, really bad teams, in my opinion. I think they're both kind of competing for that number 1 pick with the Giants. But it was a pretty bad game. But it was 10-6. Jags won.
All right, so now we're going to move on to some baseball we haven't talked about in a little while. But we've had some time go by in the offseason, so we've got some of the news that surrounding the offseason. So we're going to start off with Blake Snell going to the Dodgers, along with Tommy Edman extending his contract with the Dodgers. We have Luis Severino heading to the A's, Yusei Kikuchi to the Angels, and I think probably the biggest move of this offseason, or possibly any offseason, is Juan Soto to the Mets, which is going to bring us right into our next topic. Guys, is the Soto signing with the Mets a good or bad idea?
I think it's just a bad idea. I think in the long term, we've seen this in the past with Verlander going to the Mets, and I just think Soto going to the Mets isn't going to work out. The fact that they paid him so much money, and the Mets, they're good. Like, they made it almost to the World Series, but I think they need a few other key players to be able to compete. I just think overall it's not going to work out in the long run, and I think the only side that will gain positive from that deal is Soto, as he gets all that money.
I think it was a decent idea. I don't think the Yankees should have let him go. I'm kind of interested to see how the Mets are going to be playing now, but I don't know. I think it was a decent idea.
I did not like this trade at all, both because I am a Yankees fan and both just because. I think this is in my opinion, the Mets were not a great team. They're all right. I didn't completely agree with how far they got into the postseason. I just don't think that Soto is just gonna magically get them better because, I mean, as he did help with the Yankees, but the Yankees did go out and make other moves in the offseason so that he wasn't the only one picking up the slack. I think he should have stayed with the Yankees because the Yankees are also going to be making some moves this offseason. So the Yankees are going to be good like last year, and if they kept Soto, it would be a lot better too because he is a very powerful hitter and a pretty good fielder as well.
Now, currently the NBA tournament is going on in the NBA, and where we are right now as we're recording this video, we're on to the semifinals where out of the East it's the Bucks taking on the Hawks, and out of the West it's the Rockets taking on the Thunder, and I want to hear your guys' predictions. Brandon, do you want to start off?
Yeah, sure. So I've got Bucks over Hawks, and then I've got the Thunder over the Rockets. Bring us to our final of Thunder and Bucks. I've got the Thunder winning the tournament.
I have Bucks over Hawks. I also have Thunder over Rockets, but I have the Bucks over the Thunder, so I think Milwaukee Bucks are taking it.
And I have the Bucks taking on the Hawks. I think the Bucks will take it. Bucks are just a better team overall. We have the Rockets and the Thunder. I think could be either or in this matchup, but I think it's going to be the Rockets that take it. And then in the in-season tournament championship, the Bucks take on the Rockets. I just think Rockets have been playing good, but Bucks more recently have been playing better. I think the Bucks take this one and are the 2024 in-season tournament champions. Alright, folks, so we have some interesting news going on in the world of football. So Bill Belichick has agreed to become a head coach for the University of North Carolina, and he's going from professional football now down to college football, so be interesting to see how good he does as a coach in college football. And then other news is, we missed it a few weeks ago, CMC was placed on IR officially after his injury and loss against the Bills. Will most likely be out for the season. Alright, so next up we're going to be predicting our college football playoff brackets, so I'm going to go first. So first round of the playoffs, Texas takes on Clemson, and I see Texas taking that one. Tennessee takes on Ohio State. I see Tennessee taking that one. SMU takes on Penn State. I see Penn State taking that one. And Indiana takes on Notre Dame. I see Notre Dame taking that one. Now we're on to the quarterfinals. Texas takes on Arizona State. I think Texas gets it done there. Move to the semifinals. Now we have the 1 seed Oregon taking on Tennessee, the 9 seed. I think Oregon wins it there. Penn State takes on Boise State there, and I think it's going to be Penn State that gets it done. Notre Dame takes on the 2 seed Georgia. I think Georgia beats Notre Dame. Texas now in the semifinals. Texas takes on Oregon. Texas has had a good one, but I think it ends here. Oregon wins. And then Penn State takes on Georgia. Same thing. I think Georgia is going to end Penn State's run, and the championship will be Oregon versus Georgia, and I think it's going to be Georgia who gets it done.
All right. So for my first round, we have Clemson, Texas. I have Texas beating Clemson. I have Ohio State beating Tennessee. Penn State beating SMU. And Notre Dame beating Indiana. That brings us to our quarterfinal round. So we have Texas versus Arizona State. I have Texas beating Arizona State heading to the semifinals. Then I have Oregon beating Ohio State heading to the semifinals to play Texas. Then we have Penn State and Boise State playing. I have Boise State taking that heading to the semifinals. And Georgia and Notre Dame, I think Georgia's going to win that game, and they're going to go to the semifinals against Boise State. So semifinal round now, we have Oregon versus Texas. I think Oregon's going to take that, bring them right to the national championship. And we have Boise State versus Georgia. I think Georgia is going to win against Boise State, bringing them to the national championship against Oregon. And I believe Oregon is going to be this year's national champion. Phillip?
So, first round, Clemson versus Texas. I have Texas winning that. Next, we have Tennessee versus Ohio State. I have Ohio State taking that. SMU versus Penn State. I have Penn. And then Indiana versus Notre Dame. I actually have Notre Dame. And then on to the quarterfinals. It's Texas Longhorns versus Arizona State. I have Texas coming out on top. Number 1 seed Oregon versus Ohio State. I'm going to go with Oregon. Boys versus Penn. I'm going to go with Boys. Georgia versus Notre Dame. I'm going to go Georgia. So now on to the semifinals. I have Texas Longhorns versus Oregon. I have Oregon defeating the Longhorns. And then I have Boys versus Georgia. I am going to take Georgia. For my national championship, I just have Georgia taking it, same as Brandon.
Alright, so now we are on to NFL schedule predictions, and I'm going to get started. and I'll be doing the Seahawks schedule, a team that has won 4 games in a row after starting off 3-0, going down to 4-5, and now currently sitting at 8-5 on the season, coming off a win against the Cardinals 30-18, taking on the Packers in Week 15. I think the Seahawks are going to get it done, as I was saying earlier for my prediction. It's just they have more momentum right now than the Packers. I think Seahawks win that game. Taking on the Vikings, I actually am going to go Seahawks here. I think the Seahawks are going to take this one. So now 10-5, have won 6 in a row. Take on the Bears. I think they get it done here as well. So now Seahawks sitting at 11-5, but Week 18, potential division, a game for the division. I think it's going to be the Rams who beat the Seahawks. And the Seahawks are going to go 11-6 on the season.
All right, I'll be predicting the Titans' last 4 games. So we have Bengals versus Titans coming up this week. I think the Bengals are going to be able to take that game coming off of an interesting win with the Cowboys. But I think they're going to take that game. Colts-Titans, I think the Colts are going to win that game. Titans-Jags, I think the Titans for sure are going to win that. And then we have Texans-Titans, and I just think the Texans are going to take that game. So the Titans are going to end their season off with a loss.
So I'm going to be doing the Rams prediction. They just came off a lucky win against the Bills. So they face all teams with losing records for now. So against the 49ers, I think they're going to win that. Christian McCaffrey's out, Jordan Mason's out, and I think Isaac Guerrero is also out. So all 3 of their running backs are out. So the Rams taking that, go 8-6. Then they face the Jets. Jets are 3-10. Could be either 3-11 or 4-10, depending on when they play. But I see the Rams taking that regardless, moving them 9-6. Then they face the Cardinals. I have the Rams also taking that, so they end up going 10-6. And then against the Seahawks, I do see them losing that or winning. I'm going to go with losing because I don't think they're that good. So I have them going 10-7 on the year.
Alright, folks, so now I'm going to be predicting the rest of the Arizona Cardinals regular season schedule. So currently at Week 15, they're sitting at 6-7, have lost 3 games straight. They take on the Patriots this Sunday. I think the Cardinals get it done, so that is a win for them, putting them back at 7-7, still very much in the division. They take on the Panthers. I think they're going to win against the Panthers. It's going to be a close one. Panthers play them tough, but Cardinals take this one. Then they play the Rams. I think the Rams take this game. Cardinals got the earlier matchup this season against them. I think they split that series. So sitting at 8-8, Week 18, probably a crucial game to get into the playoffs. I see them losing to the 49ers and ending the season at 8-9. Alright, folks, so I just decided, because we did the rest of the NFC West, let's just finish it off and do the 49ers. So I'll be predicting the rest of the 49ers season schedule as well. So Week 15, the 49ers take on the Rams, and I think it's going to be the Rams who get it done. So falling to 6-8, season basically over, takes on the Miami Dolphins. I think the 49ers are actually going to come out on top in this game. Most wouldn't think so, but I think the 49ers win, go 7-8. Week 17, taking on the Lions. I think that is a loss. Rematch of last year's NFC Championship game, but this time the Lions get revenge and more. And then Week 18, I think the 49ers are going to beat the Cardinals. Cardinals trying to potentially win and get into the playoffs. 49ers already out. 49ers come out and win. So 49ers are going to end the season now off, I think, at 8-9. We are the Soma Sports Broadcasting Club. See you next week.
And the Somers Tuskers make history. The Somers Tuskers are the 2024 Class A New York State Class A champions. The Somers Tuskers have done it, making history, repeating here. The Somers Tuskers celebrating on the field. What a game!
Certainly, what a game!